to another installment, Punn, Entended podcast. We got Bishop, No Beard Chris, per usual. We got a very special guest in the building today. We got a guy who, he's made his travels, and he's landed in Atlanta. And Atlanta's basically home. It has been for a while, to a certain extent. He'll get into that. But a lot of executives are defined by being an executive. Nah, this man just defined by his name. His accomplishments are many. Next, he stands next to none. He's one of those guys who's been in the industry for so long that he knows everybody's job. He knows how records work. He knows how stars are broken. He's worked for Capitol, Empire, So Def, just to name a few. He's a legend to me, and by the time y'all finish listening to him, he's gonna be a legend to y'all. Hollywood Serge, man, welcome to Punn Entended.
My brother, what's good, man? You used to be a preacher?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, man. No.
Give me preacher vibes.
No. Hey, we want the people to feel this shit. This stuff,
for sure. That was a great introduction, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Born and raised, Queens, New York.
Facts.
We talking about home of 50 Cent, Supreme Team, Irv, Gotti, just to name a few.
So check this out, right? Like, I just watched the Supreme Team documentary, bro, and it brought back so many memories, right? Because as a kid growing up, like, while all that was happening, like, this is like my neighborhood, right? And I couldn't go outside. And, like, it's not until you get older you realize, like, oh, this is why I couldn't go outside. So it was actually me now seeing footage of why I couldn't, like, go outside, right? Because it's like, my mom used to always tell me, like, whenever it was gunshots, I used to think it was fireworks, right? So it was cool in the summertime when you think it's fireworks, but in December, you like, nah, these ain't fireworks. Like, you get what I'm saying? And, like, so me watching like some of the footage, actually on my street, like 150th Street, that's where I grew up, and so seeing that footage was like, oh, this is the reason why that I couldn't go outside, like, during this era. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was cool watching that joint.
So we grew up in New York. Mm-hmm. What brought you to Clark Atlanta University in what year was it?
99.
99.
Yeah. Just a visit, right? Because as a New Yorker, I've never been to the South before, and it was a DJ named Brand New. He was he was like a DJ in high school, and he visited Clark, and he came back and he was like, "Yo, the school is dope," right? So I was like, Atlanta? I didn't really know much about Atlanta outside of, like, Outkast and the music or whatever. And then my barber, right? So I go get a haircut, and my barber had just came back from Freaknik. And he had, like, this is when you had pictures, you know what I'm saying? And he showed me the pictures. So that's the real reason why I ended up in Atlanta. And like I said, I came to Atlanta, I visited it, and I fell in love with the city. And
in them pictures.
Yeah, in them pictures. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And back then, like, it wasn't a lot of New Yorkers down there. So, if you was from New York, as far as the women, you know what I'm saying? Because what was dope about Clark Atlanta is that, it was people from everywhere. And I guess I knew I was a super New Yorker, like Tim's in the summer, all that. You know what I mean? So I kind of, like, stood out a little bit. So it helped out with the chicks. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that was one of the main reasons why I ended up here in Atlanta.
Can you give us a crazy story about Clark? Like a party or?
Well, I mean, bro, the first time I visited,
shit.
like, so my mom, I came down to visit with my mom, right? And the first day, like I said, a super New Yorker, had the Yankee with the do-rag, shorts, Timberlands, you know what I'm saying? So they was calling me Master P, the Cartiers, like, they kept calling me Master P because I looked like a rapper, you know what I'm saying? I had a chain on, all that, like, and they, so met this chick, first night, boom. One nighter, right? So we stayed in the dorm. My mom was in the hotel. So shorty left mad hickeys on my neck, right? So my mom come to pick me up the next day. She was like, "Yeah, what's that on your neck?" "Oh, no, you're going to St. John's University. Now, you're not coming down here." So that was my first experience at Clark, bro. You know what I mean? And but it's just been love, like Atlanta, like I consider this home, keep it real with you, because this is where I became a man, you know what I'm saying? And so, and like we'll get into like why I ended up moving back or whatever, but I consider Atlanta home. Yeah.
So what kind of relationships did you have like during like the Clark situation, like far as the music industry?
Well, it wasn't really. I didn't like. I came to school for computer science, bro. Like I didn't have no intentions of being in the music business. But it just so happens that I went to school with people that were in the music business. DJ Drama was one of the guys. Don Cannon, my boy Leighton, who which is like that's the generation now. He went to Morehouse. Stephen Victor went to Morehouse. My boy Walter Jones, who was the president of Sony Publishing, we went in the same dorm together. So the dude brand new that told me him and Walter were roommates. You know what I'm saying? Like what in the dorm. You know what I mean? So I went to school with him. So we were just, me and Walter, we threw parties together, all of this, right? So I was when I was in New York, like I was big on mixtapes. Like I would like save my lunch money to buy mixtapes, right? And that was my thing. So when I moved down here, I felt like there was a lack of it. So what I ended up doing, I ended up setting up a mixtape stand right on the campus in front of this barbershop. And so that's what I was doing. So boom, I'm selling mixtapes all day long. And when I had class, I had somebody hold down the table for about an hour or two, come back. And so that was my hustle. So to answer your question, the rapper Mace, like when he retired from rap, he attended Clark. Like just Mace was at Clark, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he was,
I think that's in his book, right?
Yeah.
I read the book.
So his church actually started in the student center, bro.
Wow.
Like the church started in the student center, like because that's where we hung out. Like while we supposed to be in class, like it took me 7 years to graduate from Clark, right? This is the type of stuff I was doing. Hanging out.
Too much shit going on.
You're not the first. It took me 6. You're not the first.
So where you got held back?
No, I just I was doing a lot of things.
You just don't go.
Yo, bro, you know what's crazy, bro? No one ever really tells you, because now I think back, like, I was like, when you go away to school, you're really supposed to go away, go to class, go back to your room and study. But that's not what I was doing.
No.
I was going to class. You know what I mean? But like after class, it was just life, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And so now when I think back, like that's crazy. But the women, that's like a lot of the women, they would literally go to class, go back, get their work done, and then if there was anything else, like, you know what I mean? So Mace, like that, we hung out in the student center a lot. You know what I mean? And that's where me and him was on a basketball team together, because I played basketball in high school, and we were the only guys from New York, so we became cool. But he was doing music. He was like, church. So I tried the church thing, went back to being a freshman quick. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried it, and so he kept going, ended up building up his church or whatever. And when he decided to come back with the Welcome Back album, he called me to be his assistant and run around with him, and that was like my introduction into the music business. And I think I fell in love with A&R because he would run out of beats, and through all the relationships that I've gathered throughout the years, like, I need some beats for Mace, and just started getting beats from different people, giving it to him, and I fell in love with the process of watching him create something from nothing, like, you know what I mean, from literally listening, like from a beat, just with no vocals on it, and just watching him create that. I fell in love with that process, and I think that's where my love for A&R stemmed from.
So I got a few questions. Like,
how
did people treat Mace on campus?
He was a celebrity.
But I'm saying, did people take him serious, or they was just like, what the fuck?
Mace
is
a
doing?
funny dude, bro. Like, he's hilarious.
Right.
Like, he's just a funny character. You know what I'm saying? So, like, after a while, people got over that's Mace, and he just became
Pastor Mace.
Well, not even Pastor Mace, like, because he's so cool.
Mace.
Like, he's just funny. Like, he's just
Mason
funny.
Bethel.
He came to school fresh every day. He had a purple Range Rover and a purple SL 600 drop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was just like I said. He was at the studio. He wasn't hard to find.
Mace was probably about, because when he got the record deal, I think he was what, 17?
I think he was 19. I think he might
19.
He was
so
19.
He was still early
young.
20s.
Yeah,
Still
he was a college student's age.
Exactly.
In 99.
Exactly.
So
because he got signed in 96, 97, and then he was at school in 99. So he was.
So what's Mace like? What's his recording process like? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Just like he comes up with the melody first, so he's gonna hum like he's gonna find the pocket, and it's just gonna be humming, like, you know what I mean. And then from there, the humming turns into words. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, yeah, like you just get like really, really great songs. But with him, it's about the flow, the melody. So once he finds that, and then like I said, like that turns into words. Like, you know what I mean? And that's how you get them songs.
Just real quick, just for some music industry jargon, explain what a pocket is, because I heard Jay-Z, he referenced this last week on his, I think it was the Twitter verse call, whatever it is.
Okay.
Like, just explain to people who don't know what the pocket is on the record.
It's just like rhythm, like, right? Like in music, you have rhythm and pockets. Like when you're coming up with a melody, like Lil Baby does this really great. Like he finds different Young Thug's find, like he finds pockets where it's just like, yo, like how did you do that? Like, you know what I mean? So it's a rhythm thing, and it's for the people that are really good with melodies, and in that rhythm, you just kind of find like a pocket in there that goes either with the rhythm or against the rhythm. You get what I'm saying? And that's basically what the pocket is. Like, it's kind of hard to explain without like actually.
It's usually
like,
when the beat like have like a lot of times artists, they have production and it might be too much production.
Right.
So sometimes you got to take some of these tracks out
Exactly.
to make the beat a little bit empty.
Exactly.
And those pockets, like when there's nothing going on musically, you take your voice and you replace those sounds
with your melody.
Your voice.
Yeah, exactly.
You turn your voice to an instrument.
There you go.
Now, how did you come about, one of the greatest producers of all time is No ID.
Yeah.
How in the hell did you come about managing No ID?
Yo, a chance meeting, man. Chance meeting. So Mace ran around with him, put the album out, and he quit again, right? So I was staying at the Eclipse in Buckhead at the time. This was probably like 2006, 2007, I think. And so I was in the crib watching. There was a show on MTV called Driven. And one of the episodes was Kanye West. So I knew who No ID was, obviously, through, Common Sense, but he was always like a background dude. Like, he never really showed, his face, anything like that. And so seeing him on the show was the first time I was like, oh, that's No ID. Like, that's what he looks like. Yo, the next day I get in the elevator. Guess who's in the elevator? No ID. I was like, oh, yo, I just seen you on the show. He was like, yeah. I was like, what you doing down here? He was like, yo, I'm down here working with Jermaine Dupri. We exchanged information. I asked him if he had management, told him, y'all just came from working with Mace. He was like, nah. So I was like, yo, let me manage you. And he was like, yo, let's meet on at the time, the 10th floor was like the common area. We met, and we sat down, we chopped it up, and he was like, let's do it. Show me what you could do. And that's where it started from. And and that's how I actually met JD, because I just would go to the studio all the time with him. And him, L Rock, and JD were all working together. And so it was like working with No ID led me to working with JD.
Quick shout out to my OG L Rock, man.
L Rock, man.
Love you, brother.
Yeah, shout out to my guy L Rock.
Now you managing a legend,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Did it occur to you at any point in time, like, I'm managing, or you just like, well, shit, I'm just managing another producer?
Yeah, like, cause like when you in it, bro, like I don't think you look at people that way. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just look at them at, like, this is somebody that's talented, and, there's a way for us to make money together. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think you look at it as, like, I'm managing a legend. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still, like, like he turned, even though I was managing him, he was still my mentor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's filled with knowledge, you know what I mean? And so it was, it was definitely a great experience. And like I said, like, once we get deep into it, like, like, that's the guy that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? No ID, for sure.
Well, let's get right to it then.
Yeah.
Okay. So you eventually landed So Def.
Yeah. Well, publishing. The publishing side of it. Yeah. Yeah. With EMI. JD had a publishing company because he liked how I was moving with No ID, so he offered me a job to basically do what I was doing for him, for the publishers, for the producers and songwriters he had signed to him.
So what was your day-to-day schedule when it came to the publishing situation?
Yeah, setting up sessions and basically sending beats out. So like at the time he had the songwriter named Cristal. That was like fire. Like she wrote Only Girl in the World for Rihanna. Touch My Body for Mariah, Love All Over Me for Mariah, just endless amount of hits, right? So my job was to set up sessions with her to get her in with different producers. Nitty was signed to him. Marvelous J at the time was signed to him. What's the kid that did Turn My Swag On? I forgot his name, drawing a blank. But basically, he had a lot of these producers. So my job was also to send beats out to different record labels like that were looking for stuff. So I would get a who's looking list and basically, tell the producers, hey, I need some beats for such and such, and then shoot stuff out to all of the different A&Rs and all.
So did you do like the splits?
Yeah. When it came time, once a placement landed, definitely. Yeah, once the placements landed. And back then, it wasn't as many producers as it was now, so it was a little easier. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't have to worry about 5 producers being on one beat. You know what I'm saying? Right. At that time, it was usually just one maybe 2 the most, So it was a little easier to do splits back then. So
you go from publishing to being an A&R. Like, talk about, because I think what you just described, what you did as a in the publishing. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of niggas think A&Rs actually do, as far as shop. I thought the same thing, shit like that. Yeah, I thought the same thing. So talk about the differences in the job. Like, when did you get the A&R job?
Well, a publisher that's still an A&R, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just an A&R, but you're just an A&R for a publisher. Like, you have A&R for a record label is like a different type of job. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, because an A&R for a publisher, your job is to whatever that publishing company you're working for, your job is to try to land placements and hopefully big records for the people that, that's on that publishing company. So your job is to pitch music to record labels and artists and, and that's the job, right? Because you're trying to land placements to make the publishing company money.
So basically, you was dealing with references.
Yeah, or trying to put them together, like right, because at the end of the day, like if I set up a session with like Cristal and like a dope producer at the time, like Stargate, which was on fire at that time, and they come out with a hit, then that's how you get.
I think he did Neo, right?
Yeah. It's 2 brothers. I don't know if they're brothers.
They did
but
Let Me Love You too, then.
Yeah. No. Scott Storrs did Let Me Love You.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I know when Neo first came out, I think Stargate.
Like they did To the Left with Beyonce that Neo wrote. But yeah, like Neo worked closely with Stargate. There's two dudes from, I think they're from Sweden. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But so that's the idea is, like, from a publisher, you're trying to land placements for the people that signed to that publishing company. But as an A&R, you're focused on as an A&R on a record label, you're trying to like get the best music on the artists that you're working with. Yeah.
Now, what records did you hear and you just knew, okay, this motherfucker's finna be out of here?
The Only Girl in the World was definitely like undeniable. Touch My Body definitely was like undeniable. Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think what else in that era.
What records did you sleep on that end up being hits?
From that era right there? Let me think.
You got a very storied history, man. Just go. It don't even matter from that era. You've been around a while, brother.
Yeah, I know. I know, bro. I done heard so many records before. I'm gonna give you one. Trey Songz. What's the name of the shit?
The birthday song?
No. Trey Songz. We Can't Be Friends. Somebody sent me that record. So
it was a reference.
It was a reference.
And you passed on it.
Yeah.
And then you heard it. Then what?
Hit. One of his biggest records. Yo, listen, man. As an A&R, you gotta live with, bro. You gonna miss out on artists, songs, everything. You gotta be able to live with that. You're not gonna, like, anybody that said they're 100% batting average with hearing songs and seeing the artist and knowing their star from jump. Liar. Like, we all gonna miss. Like, probably gonna miss more than we hit. Like, you know what I mean? So, but you gotta be able to live with that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to live with that. Yeah.
So how did the Empire situation come about?
Through my attorney, Vinny Kumar, because he was Ghazi's attorney at the time, and I just came from working with so after JD, remember my job was to pitch music to everybody. Mike Karen, who was at the time, he might have been vice president of Atlantic at the time. He took a liking to me, and because he liked what I was sending. So what's crazy, Aaron Bayshuk, who is now the chairman of Warner Brothers, was the one who introduced me to Mike Karen, and because I had got no ID a single with Plies. So Aaron Bayshuk was he was A&R in Plies at the time, and I had sent him this no ID beat that ended up becoming a single called Put It On You. So Aaron was like, "Yo, I want to introduce you to Mike Karen," and Mike liked what I was doing, and he gave me a consulting job. So I was like, I was based in Atlanta, and my job was to consult with Atlantic, and same thing, just go and get the best beats. And at the time, it was like T.I., Flo Rida, Lupe Fiasco, B.O.B., CeeLo Green, like what I mean. That like these are the projects like we were all working on collectively. My job was just to go out and get beats and set up sessions. I had got a studio, and my job was to bring in different songwriters every night to work on, write hooks and stuff like that to different beats. You know what I'm saying? And then send it back to Mike to so that was that. So I did that, and then from there I went to go work with Waka's mom, Deborah Anthony. Because I was like, what was interesting with her was I was like, yo, like track record is impeccable. Like
And
Gucci
she from
Man,
Queens too, right?
And she from Queens. Like, cause she's like, I was like Gucci Man, Nicki Minaj, French Montana, OJ the Juice Man. Yo, like I wanna see what's going on over here. So Cause when I was at Atlantic, bro, like I felt like it was fun, learned a lot. Like Mike taught me a lot, bro. Like extremely smart dude, and he taught me how to be creative as an A&R. That's what I did learn from him.
Man, I dealt with Mike Karen with Day Day and the What You Mean. He didn't understand it, because there wasn't no hook on the song,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, he was like, man, it's cool, but what's the hook? I'm like, that's the best part of the song when they start doing the dance.
Yeah.
He didn't know what it was. And then I'm like, look, I'm going to just go to Crucial. I'm going to get a video, and I'm going to send it to you tomorrow. Sent him the video. He ready to fly us out.
Yeah.
Day stopped answering his phone. I look on the internet, and he signed the 300.
Exactly.
I'm like, damn.
And that... The reality of it, and that's why like I make it my business to go and see it, right? Because it's one thing, the research. I'm not anti-research. I'm pro-research. I'm just not like that's not the end all be all, right? So sometimes you got to go see it. I was just in Orlando. I'm on this promo run with Mad Mark not too long ago, and the song came on. I didn't know what it was, but the way the club reacted to it. It made me go ask, yo, who is this? Like, you know what I mean? And so sometimes you gotta like it's those moments. Like,
what song was that?
It was this artist named Kick One.
Kick One.
He had a record called Preference, something Preference.
Shout out to Kick One.
Yeah.
What he just explained for everybody watching is, and when you think about signing with these people, some of these people just stay in the office.
Yeah.
They stay in the office all day and they go home. It's a 9 to 5, and then you got guys like Serge. He's outside.
Yeah.
This nigga is outside, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't talking about I might pull up. No, Serge pulls the fuck up. He's going to the club. He's coming to ATL Top 20 dinner parties.
Facts.
He's going everywhere. So when y'all talk about, hey, I want to, when you overloading these people emails just because you see their name and their A&R, it's another step to that. Because that man might sign you, and guess what? He's not going to work your shit. This man be out with Mad Mark, all the Wolfpack artists. He's out there himself pushing records with the artists. And I just wanted y'all to see how important being in the streets still is. Go ahead, bro.
Absolutely, bro. Like, and we could get deeper into that about the streets and the internet.
That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
because that's why I really took a liking to you as a person, because I didn't really know your whole story, but you took time out, like, hey, Bishop, meet me at this restaurant. let's get something to eat, let's chop it up. And we just sat, we talked for hours. Then I think what label was you working for?
Capital at the time. Yeah.
You was with Capital, but I always ran into problems with just people in the industry, you know them, and then they get this job, and then they switch up, and it's like, damn, he working for the label now. He not answering his phone.
Yeah.
You know, you in LA, you not coming to Atlanta no more. You know what I'm saying? But with you, it was like, it was different. Like, okay, he making me feel like I work at the label, and I don't. Yeah. So instead of being on the outside looking in, it was just like I was in the building with you. And over time, we end up doing business and other things, but I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And it's just like, because a job ain't my identity. You know what I'm saying? And maybe a lot of the guys you ran across, like, a job is their identity, and obviously they move a certain way, but I am who I am with or without a title at a major record label, right? I understand business. And I understand relationships. It's like, if I'm coming at you and I need something from you, what can I offer you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how you build relationships with people. It shouldn't always be like what can you do for me? Like, how can we exchange something? It doesn't have to be money all of the time. You get what I'm saying? And I think if you treat people that way, you'll get a lot further in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does, like, just have something to offer. Like, if you're asking for something, like, what can you offer that person? And then, like I said, it could be money, but what else can it be? Because sometimes an opportunity or a meeting with someone could lead to money.
Yeah, because it definitely, like, just me knowing you, nothing happened at that time.
Right.
But as time went by,
exactly,
I end up doing a music conference. I end up doing other things, and you was there. You was like, hey, we can do this, and I can get the sponsor for this. And I'm just like, and it was just a blessing, you know. And now we got the podcast and we got the office, you know. So it was just, I appreciate that.
Nah, for sure,
for real.
For sure.
Y'all not go ahead.
Yeah, and same with you, bro. You always been A1 day one with me. You know what I'm saying? Always, bro. And you know what I mean? Like I said, like, I felt like, because I know how to, like, I'm not a dude that I just ask for stuff. I rarely ask for stuff, but if I can help someone with anything and those opportunities come, I have no problem connecting them, you know, plugging and playing. You know, so
just in case y'all not paying attention, Serge is teaching a masterclass on consistency, networking, and being of value. Something a lot of people need to really learn from. He's teaching the masterclass. I don't even think he realized he's doing it. You alluded to that. It feels like at this point a disconnect between the streets and the industry. We had a conversation off camera, and you were referring to like how somebody say, "Hey, I'm doing ATL Top 20," and then they sit down their hands and don't do shit after that. Like, get into that. Go ahead.
Yeah, like, I feel like it's two worlds that exist now, right? But like, let's take it back before the internet, right? Like, let's take it pre-internet, and then we'll move forward back to the internet. But pre-internet, there were really only three main ways of discovering music, right? It was radio, TV, and like clubs, performances, right? And that's all you had, right? Like, so from a record label, like, your job was to get the song on the radio, get the DJs to play your song, get it on TV, which was really only two channels at the time, MTV or BET. So MTV was Yo MTV Raps, and BET was Rap City, 106 Apart.
The box.
And yeah, with the box, right? And so if, as a label, you did that, because that's the only way they were able to listen to new music, right? Was radio, TV, or they went to like a live show to see somebody performing somewhere. So the labels controlled what you discovered, right? But then now, like, everything now is on demand, meaning that, like, I get to choose what I want to listen to or watch, right? And I think that moment came to me when I realized, oh, this has changed. I remember one of my ex-girlfriends, she had a 6-year-old daughter. So she's sitting in the back, and I'm listening to the radio, right? And I keep switching stations. So she like, yo, why do you keep switching the station? And I was like, because I don't really like this song, or they're playing on this station. I'm trying to, find a better song on this. And she was like, but you have an iPod. Why don't you just play it? And I looked back at her, And I was like, you're right. But I was programmed to just listen to the radio. But she was right. So this is a 6-year-old at the time. This might have been 12 years ago. But this is a 6-year-old thinking like, yo, dude, why are you listening to this? You have an iPod, just plug it in and play it. And that's this generation now, on demand. You know what I'm saying? So now it's so much, there's so much, like you got YouTube, you got SoundCloud, you got TikTok, like all these different places to discover music. And so as an artist, you can't just say, hey, I'm just gonna go promote my music in the clubs and that's it. Like, so it's like you have to do that, right? Then you have YouTube, then you have TikTok, then you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, right? So as an artist, like, you have to do all of these things at the same time in order to get your music out there or just discovered by people. Like, you know what I mean? And so I just think like the new way is just using other people's platforms as you're growing yours, like use other people's platforms to promote your music, and that's how like you'll get discovered, right? Because like I don't know if you guys noticed, but on Spotify alone, there's 60,000 songs released on Spotify daily. So what you gonna do to cut through that fact?
And the labels getting, well, they always been smart, but you know, you got this word called algorithm.
Yeah.
And people still don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still don't understand it totally. You know what I mean?
But like it's still controlling. Yeah. Because it's like you get on IG, they giving you suggestions. Do you like this ad? Do you like this? So it's kicking people out.
Absolutely.
Like when the streaming first started, like that was the time to really jump in the game.
Right.
As streaming went on, they got smarter to control what's being discovered.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And with these algorithms, it's like people don't, like these new projects coming out, you got all these features, but they doing that so if you got a song with Lil Durk, fast as his song go out, off, your song might come on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's
using other people's platforms.
Yeah, they using other people's platforms.
Right. You ever got on YouTube and you type in Little Baby and then a video pops up before Little Baby?
Yep.
Somebody got an ad and they targeted Little Baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What I had made a tweet about these fake distribution companies. Like everybody's starting these companies.
Yeah.
And they don't even know what they doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a distribution company. And these artists is signing and signing their rights away to these distribution companies, thinking that they're gonna pitch the song to playlists, thinking that they're gonna email blast the song to DJs.
Yeah.
And they don't do nothing.
No, they don't. They don't.
They just sit up and be like, bro, I'm signed with I just signed this deal with United Masters. I just signed it, and it's like.
And what they're not realizing, a lot of these distribution companies that like the newer ones, right? A lot of them, they're basically just using these companies as A&R tools.
Because they to me it's like they pretend that they want to be partners,
right?
But if you get hot, they want to give you a deal.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what it's an A&R tool. Like just like, yo, put your stuff out through here, and you know, you sign 100, you know, you sign 1,000, one pop out of it. You know,
we partners. We're gonna help you with the tour support. We'll help you with the radio support. We can help you with the sponsors. We can help you with the merchandise. Man, these people ain't doing nothing.
Nah, they just.
And when the artists get hot, and they end up getting a major situation, that's when that clause kick in. You got to
first rights refusal.
It's $250,000. You got to buy yourself out.
Yeah.
And they don't know. You know what I'm saying?
So a lot of these artists, bro, don't ever sign a no distribution company that's not offering you no money that has first rights refusal language in there at all. Because if that's the case, you can just go to DistroKid or TuneCore where they don't have that type of language. But if you ever see first rights refusal and these people aren't giving you no money, don't sign no paperwork.
It's crazy, man. I mean, they say a fool is born every day.
Facts.